up until now, this has been the Greenways, and you can see here the signpost. That way goes to Harrogate, this way goes to Starbeck, and this straight line here going all the way that way and through the gorge was a disused railway, and it's the entrance to the gorge, but you're blocked from following the railway where the old railway met the viaduct which goes over the River Nidd, and they've opened that, and so in theory you can walk now all the way to Ripley, which is what I plan on doing. So we followed the known route there all the way down towards the gorge, which is what we would do anyway, but then instead of turning off through the field and going through the gorge, we go over the viaduct. Can't wait, cannot wait, so off we go. Now, the first thing I notice is already this path is very different. It used to be overgrown on both sides, and the path on the floor used to be gravel, and it used to persist like this all the way down to the turn-off into the gorge, and they've actually cut it all back and laid tarmac down. In one way I like that, I like the fact they've moved it all back, but I don't really approve of that. I don't approve of damaging the old trees. You know, the hawthorn bushes, they're fine, but sort of leave the beech and the oak alone, really. Now, I always knew there was a little stream on that side, because that's the tributary that runs into Nidd, but I didn't know there was a tributary on the other side, at least as far down as these houses, so that shows what a difference their clearing of this area has made. The other thing is, one of the real difficulties about getting to the gorge down this track for me was I hate walking over gravel. It wasn't an easy walk, it was really quite sort of rocky and unstable. I mean, you can see some of the remains here. That's what you were walking on all the way down before. So for them to have bothered to do this is great, because you could have argued for the sake of money that they didn't need to, this was already existing, this path, they didn't need to resurface it. So I think they've done well there, but I think I would have left some of these trees alone. You know, at least they haven't chopped them down. You know, I mean, all those will just end up like that now. That's an older wound, you see. They'll just end up sort of scabbing over like that. You know, but one has to ask oneself if that was necessary. I suppose from their point of view it was probably, you know, you either leave it as it is or you do the whole lot. There's probably also an issue of safety these days. You know, once it's a public footpath as opposed to a footpath that's, you know, not really managed by anybody, the fear is that people can then claim if they, you know, walk into a low-hanging bough of a tree, I suppose, I don't know. We shall shortly come to the turn-off for the gorge through the fields, and after that we shall be on our way to the viaduct. if you've been following our To the Ends of the Earth series, then you will know where we are. We're approaching the gorge. On this side we've got the depths of seclusion, and on this side we've got the stump as we go down into the gorge, and right in the middle is a viaduct that runs over the river. A viaduct that we've been able to see from the bottom but never been able to walk across before. And this is it. Now, my good friend Rob, who's roamed these parts far longer than I, said that it used to be open a very long time ago, and you could get to Ripley, but it was across fields rather than a proper path like they've done this time. And he said one of the motivations for shutting it was that it became a place for suicide, particularly as the river below is quite shallow and full of rocks, and it's quite a long drop. But I imagine the view is spectacular, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this is like.